I've always assumed that the EMP status effect augments are superior to all the other status effect augments, but I wanted to test that out. So I went and played a few games with each of the status effect augments, which is EMP and armor piercing and freezing and burning and stunning and jamming, and also Pulsar. I put that under a status effect augment, even though it's not as accessible to everyone, but they usually release a Pulsar augment in most Tanki funds or recycle them, so if you've been playing the game for like a few years, you probably have at least a couple Pulsar augments, so that's why I'm including it in this list. Everything is going to probably change a little bit with the update of toggleable supplies, so I am going to talk about what I think is going to change and how each augment is going to be better or worse after the update. But that's speculation. So anyway, let's hop into this list. In 7th place, we have the jamming status effect augment. It's really only useful against Defender because the other drones just aren't as OP as Defender in general, and also it's basically completely ineffective against Crisis and Hyperion. Some of the turrets only get the jamming effect on critical hits, whereas other ones get them every hit, which makes it even less effective for some turrets, especially it seems like mostly the short range turrets. After the update, it's gonna either be 100% useless or amazing. And what I mean by that is drones are going to basically replace one supply. So the boosted effect from Defender is going to be, it seems like it's going to be intimately tied to the fact that you're using the armor drone armor and not the armor that you picked up off the from a box. And so either jamming is going to do basically nothing except make it impossible to use your overdrive for like 2 seconds, which is basically completely useless. I've never really noticed that I can't use my overdrive because someone's jamming me. Oh my goodness, that's so annoying. This just doesn't really happen. Or it's going to get rid of the supply that is being supplied by the drone, which I doubt they're going to go that route, but that actually makes way more sense to me because if the drone is down, why would you be able to use that supply that is connected intimately with that drone? Anyway, in 6th place, we have the stunning effect. And that's because stun just doesn't last very long. I think the longest it lasts is like 1.5 seconds for some turrets, but for most of them, it's less than a second. And it doesn't really give you any sort of good advantage in battle. Maybe if you're super lucky, you can stop someone from using their overdrive. But in general, it just makes someone pause their game for like half a second and then they're back. It doesn't really give you a good advantage. So that's why it's going to go in number 6th place. And it probably won't be any different after the update. In the number 5th spot, we have Pulsar, which some people might disagree that it's so far down on the list, but it's super inconsistent for most turrets. I know right now for Tsunami, it's pretty good, but in general, it's just really inconsistent. Sometimes you'll get 2 critical hits like right in a row basically, and then you won't get critical hits for like a whole game. It also makes your opponent so vulnerable that your kills get stolen a lot. I experienced that a few times where I would get the pulsar effect, but then they would just instantly die from someone else. So it's maybe better in team battles, I guess you could say. If you're super lucky, you can stop someone's OD just like stun because you actually get the stun effect for a tiny amount of time, but that's very lucky. That's super unlikely to happen. I don't believe the Pulsar augment is going to really change any effectiveness after the update. In the number 4th spot, we have the burning effect. It's easily counterable with repair, which is kind of a bad thing, but also it makes people use their repair early sometimes because they just want to get rid of the burning effect, which gives you an advantage. So it's kind of a pro and a con that it's easily counterable. And it probably isn't really going to change after the update. I don't think the burning effect is going to really become better or worse. In the number 3rd spot, we have freezing. This one is also easily counterable with repair, but it makes people use repair early more frequently than with the burning effect because the burning effect isn't really giving you a disadvantage. It just means that you're taking a little like a tiny bit more damage than you normally would, but the freezing effect makes you slow and also it makes it so that your double damage is ineffective. So people pretty often will immediately use repair after getting frozen. So if you're using the freezing effect, you can pretty much count on people using their repair, and then if you can freeze them again, you're in a really good position to beat them. I think Railgun is especially good because it gets the freezing effect on every shot. It's probably going to be less good after the update because I think we're going to see a lot less people using double damage. Or I guess it won't be double damage anymore. It'll just be boosted damage. I think most people are going to use boosted armor most of the time. So it's probably going to be less effective. In the number 2 spot, we have armor piercing. And armor piercing only lasts a really short amount of time for most turrets, so it's not amazing really, but they basically have to make a choice, either die or use repair. So it basically forces people to use repair early, which gives you a good advantage. It will probably still be good after the update. It probably won't really change at all, to be honest. And in the number 1 spot, unsurprisingly, we have EMP because it just takes a long time to get your full supplies back on, and it can't be countered with repair. It is less effective against Crisis and Hyperion because they can just reactivate their supplies super quickly, but in general, it's the most effective status effect augment for making your enemies be vulnerable and easy to kill. I think it's probably going to be less good after the update to the drones because people aren't going to have their full supplies on. They're pretty much just going to have double armor on because they're going to use the double armor drone probably, and you're going to make them lose their double armor drone for a couple seconds. So it's probably going to be basically the same as armor piercing, maybe a tiny bit more effective, but I think it's not going to be a standout augment anymore after the update. Now that we've gone through those augments and my opinion of what order they should kind of go in, I want to say that actually it really doesn't matter what you pick. Throughout my short test, I didn't really notice that I did significantly better or worse with any one augment. It really depends on how good the battle is, how good your equipment and skill is, and how effectively paired they are with the map and with the opposing team or opposing players. If you get into a good battle, you're probably going to do well no matter which status effect augment you use. I guess maybe bar jamming augments because they're just really not that good. But in general, you can pick whatever you want, whatever you think is fun. And if you get in a good battle, you'll do well. And if you get in a bad battle, you'll do poorly. That's just kind of how it is. So I would say pick whatever is fun because in general, I got about the same KD no matter what I was using, and some of the augments were just not very interesting to use. So anyway, tell me what your favorite status effect augment is in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.